There is a word many of us don't like to hear: wait. We don't like waiting in traffic. We don't like waiting in line. And we especially don't like waiting on God. Because when you've prayed, when you've believed, when you've done all you know to do, silence feels heavy. Delays feel endless. And sometimes it feels like heaven has closed its doors. But let me encourage you, God's delays are not his denials. His timing may not match your clock, but it always matches his purpose. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." That means even if it doesn't look beautiful now, even if it looks broken, messy, or hopeless, in the right time, God can turn it into something glorious. Look at Abraham. He had to wait 25 years for Isaac, the son God promised him. Joseph spent 13 long years between the pit, the prison, and finally the palace. David was anointed king as a teenager, but he spent years tending sheep and running from Saul before sitting on the throne. And even Jesus, the Son of God, waited 30 years before beginning his public ministry. Why? Because waiting is never wasted. Waiting seasons are working seasons. They shape you. They strengthen you. They prepare you for the blessing ahead. I know the waiting can feel like torture. You've prayed for healing, but the sickness lingers. You've prayed for a breakthrough, but the door stays closed. You've prayed for restoration, but the relationship remains broken. And you wonder, Lord, why are you silent? Why haven't you moved? But let me remind you, just because you don't see it doesn't mean he isn't doing it. Just because you don't hear him doesn't mean he isn't speaking. God often works in hidden ways, beneath the surface, in the silence. Think of a seed buried in the soil. To the human eye, it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the dirt, in the dark, roots are forming. Life is growing. And when the time is right, it will break through. That's what your waiting season is. It's not a burial, it's a planting. You're not buried to die, you're planted to grow. Moses waited 40 years in the desert before God called him from the burning bush. Why? Because God was stripping away Egypt from him. He was shaping his character before sending him back to deliver a nation. And that's what he's doing with you. The waiting is not punishment. It's preparation. Here's the truth. If God gave you what you were praying for too soon, it might destroy you instead of bless you. Blessings without preparation can become burdens. Doors without maturity can become distractions. That's why God sometimes says, "Not yet," because he loves you too much to give you something before you're ready. Imagine a child asking for the keys to a car. The car isn't bad, but in the wrong hands, it's dangerous. The same is true for us. What you see as delay, God sees as protection. What you feel as waiting is God preparing you, shaping you, aligning circumstances for the right moment. Psalm 27 verse 14 says, "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage." Wait for the Lord. Waiting takes courage. It takes strength to trust God's plan when everyone else seems to be moving ahead. It takes faith to believe his promise when the evidence says otherwise. But waiting is not wasted. Look at Hannah. She prayed year after year for a child. Her waiting brought her to tears. Others mocked her. But when God finally answered, she gave birth to Samuel, a prophet who would anoint kings and shift a nation. The delay made the promise even more powerful. Look at Mary and Martha. When Lazarus grew sick, they sent word for Jesus. But instead of rushing, he delayed 2 days. And by the time he arrived, Lazarus was dead. To them, the delay felt cruel. But Jesus had something greater in mind. He didn't just want to heal Lazarus. He wanted to resurrect him. The delay set the stage for a miracle that would reveal his glory. So hear me clearly. Your waiting season is not wasted. What feels like delay is divine development. What looks like silence is a strategic setup. What you think is wasted time is actually God's preparation time. Habakkuk 2 verse 3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not delay." That means your promise has an appointment. God has circled a date on heaven's calendar, and when it arrives, nothing can stop it. So what do you do while you wait? You worship, you serve, you keep sowing seeds of faith. You keep declaring his word over your life. Because waiting is not passive, it's active trust. Think of the eagle. When a storm comes, most birds hide. But the eagle doesn't run. It waits for the wind, then spreads its wings and lets the storm carry it higher. That's what waiting on God does. It doesn't break you, it elevates you. Maybe right now, you're waiting for direction, waiting for healing, waiting for financial provision, waiting for restoration. And the enemy whispers, "It's never going to happen. God has forgotten you." But I came to remind you today, God has not forgotten. Isaiah 49 verse 15 says, "Can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has born? Though she may forget, I will not forget you." If a mother cannot forget her child, how much more will your heavenly Father remember you? So hold on. Don't quit. Don't give up one prayer too soon. Galatians 6 verse 9 reminds us, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." The proper time, not your time, not their time, but God's time. And when the proper time comes, you'll see why the waiting was necessary. You'll see why He closed that door, why He delayed that answer, why He said, "Not yet." Because He was protecting you, preparing you, and setting you up for something better than you imagined. So today, lift your eyes from the clock and fix them on Christ. His silence is not abandonment, it's strategy. His delay is not denial, it's divine timing. And when the moment comes, you'll look back and say, "It was worth the wait." Your story is still unfolding. The promise is still alive. And the God who makes everything beautiful in its time is working right now on your behalf. So wait, not with fear, not with frustration, but with faith. Because in God's timing, every tear, every prayer, every sacrifice will make sense. And you will see, He was faithful all along.